It's here, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. Football Manager 2021, the full release, the official game. It's here. If you're like anything like me, you've been waiting for this for a long time. Maybe you've played the beta. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're coming straight over from Football Manager 2020. Maybe you've taken a break. Maybe you're new to the game. Maybe, whether you're new or more experienced, maybe you're thinking, how can I choose a club? Well, this video then is for you. We're going to talk today about how to go about choosing some clubs, some suggestions, how you might decide. I'm not actually going to suggest any clubs. It's not a list of 5 or 10 clubs to manage, although I do have those on my channel if you want to go and check them out. These are just some suggestions to help you get over that mental block of which team out of the many teams available in the game am I going to start with. So here we are on the start screen. We want to start a new game, our Football Manager career. And I'm going to start with my main piece of advice for you new or more inexperienced players of the game, and that is to go with a team you know. Now that might be your favourite club. For my sins, that is Manchester United in this case. So picking your favourite team has the big advantage that you know the team, you know the players, you know the strengths, you know what's wrong with the team, you know what you want to change. So you come in, you take over that team, you already have that familiarity with the players and the setup, and you know exactly what you need to do. Plus, you have the challenge of trying to outperform your own favourite team in real life. Although I see how that could get quite annoying in a way. Another option would be to go with a local team. Now, as someone who hails from East Staffordshire, that would give me the options of a team like Stoke or a team like Derby. Someone local. Again, it's the same kind of logic as picking your favourite team. Maybe your favourite team is your local team, of course, but you go with a team that you know, you're familiar with, you know the players, you know what needs to be done, and that's just going to help you ease into the game that little bit faster. Of course, if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, you might venture abroad and go for one of the powerhouses of Europe. Go with a Bayern or a Borussia, a Barca, a Real, an Atletico, Inter, AC, Roma, Zebre. But going with those big teams, you're just going to have that little bit of extra wiggle room to get used to the game, to sort out the tactics, to build up your squad and have some success without banging your head against a brick wall in frustration. But what about you more intermediate players, those of you who've been playing for a few years, you've managed your favourite team time and time again, you've taken your local team to the pinnacle of Premier League or top division Champions League glory, and you've been out to Spain and Italy and France and Germany and managed the big teams there. Well, my advice to you is get out of your comfort zone. Maybe this year is the time to head over to somewhere like South America and take on the wacky and weird delights of a league system like Argentina or Brazil. Maybe it's the time to head to North America, try out the new Canadian League, have some fun in Mexico and... Nah, MLS, too complicated drafts, just don't bother. You could, however, wait for FM Digi's restructured USA Pyramid, definitely one to keep an eye out for. Or coming back to Europe, I'm sure over the years you've had wonderful wonder kids and regens come out of places like Belgium and Croatia and the Czech Republic. So why not go to one of those leagues? Try them out, try out one of their big teams and face that challenge of trying to be successful in Europe. Or maybe within a country where you've already managed before, you want to try out something different with a team. Maybe go for a kind of stop the slide, as I like to call it. Pick a team like Sunderland, for example, like Ipswich, who unfortunately have fallen down the divisions a bit, fallen on hard times. See if you can bring them back up to where they've been before. You could go for the same thing in Spain, where you've got a team like Deportivo La Coruña who've dropped all the way down to the 3rd tier. Or head over to Italy, which seems to be full of teams that get disbanded and reformed, and the likes of Palermo and Bari that used to be up there at the top table. Can you take them back? Another option is to pick a team that's completely overshadowed by a much larger local rival. We could head to France and take over Paris FC, for example, and see if we can knock Paris Saint-Germain off their perch. Or you could take a team like Gateshead, very much overshadowed by the likes of Newcastle, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. See if you can make Gateshead the North East's premier team. In fact, Gateshead represent another kind of challenge. You can call it small club to big club, you can call it non-league to legend, you could call it bottom to top. Basically, the idea is you start in your chosen country's lowest playable league and you try to take a team all the way up to the top to win that country's league title and to go on to Champions League glory. In England, it's the biggest challenge of them all, with there being 6 tiers to rise through to get to the Premier League. But you've also got Scotland with 4 tiers, where you could take a team like Edinburgh City and try and make a team from the capital, the dominant force, rather than one of those Glasgow groups. Or Sweden, you've got 4 tiers as well, taken into regional leagues, so you could pick a team out from the bottom here and try to take them all the way to the top. Forward! And now for a couple of ideas for the more advanced managers among you, those who've done the big clubs before, been there, done that with the bottom to top idea, and rescued so many clubs you'd put a footballing philanthropist to shame. Well, one thing you could do is just make it a little bit random. Start unemployed. So you enter the game in August 2020, looking at the job centre to see what's available. Now, to make this really hard, you can start off with no coaching badges, Sunday League football reputation, and that reputation being about as low as you can get. Now, of course, if you're going to have a reputation that low, you're probably going to want to load some leagues where you're going to have teams that would still want to employ you. So we'll be looking at lower level English teams. We might be looking at national first division teams in South Africa, Indonesian teams, or teams from the regional Welsh leagues. You might even want to try your hand at some international management with something like the Uzbekistan under-19s. And if you are interested in international management, check out my guide to that. So you might end up at Prestatyn Town, you might end up at Royal Eagles, you might end up at Borneo FC. You just go where the job offers take you and then work your way around the world of football, trying to get into bigger and bigger jobs until you're eventually in one of those top jobs in Europe. But maybe that all sounds a bit too random for you. Maybe you'd rather pick a club, but you want to pick a club that's going to be a real challenge. Well, here's an idea for you. You can see up here, we're actually in 2021. We are starting the game in 2021, which makes sense considering it's Football Manager 2021, right? So we've holidayed through a year, and now what we're looking at is in the bottom active league in the game. We're looking for the teams that have been promoted. So here I'm looking at the Vanarama North, and you can see here Lowestoft, Nuneaton, Basford, Buxton, Ashton United, Tamworth. They've all come up. Now these teams wouldn't have been available starting the game in August 2020 because they would have been outside the playable leagues. They have been promoted by the game. So basically these are teams that are unplayable in the vanilla game when you load it up. So there's that extra level of challenge. These have got a lower reputation. You can see the odds there for them surviving. You've got to go in there, keep them up, and then build them up. If we head over to, or head down to the Vanarama South, we've got Weston-super-Mare, we've got Poole, we've got Farnborough that have been promoted up. Or we could even head somewhere like Argentina with its 2-group second division and have a look who's been promoted here. So the likes of Los Andes, Alti Brown, Boca Udinos, Cruzeiro, 4,000 to 1 to stay up. Quite the challenge, that one. Basically, any country that's got a promotion, relegation into that bottom playable league that's not having some restructuring going on, like Spain is. You could even do it in a place like Wales. Really challenge yourself. So if you fancy managing Chirk or Tonpentre, this is your way to do it. So there you have it, folks, my suggestions for what to do if you're struggling for ideas for a save. I hope you'll find that useful, whether you're a new player to Football Manager 2021, and if you are, welcome. Whether you've been playing for a few years or whether you're a wily old veteran of football and championship manager. Do let me know down in the comments how you go about picking your teams and what ideas and suggestions you've got. Make sure you're subscribed for the next video in this series, which is going to be all about making sure that you've got a long-term potential in your save. But for now, please hit that like button if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm Dodgy Gamer. Happy Football Manager 2021. See you again soon.